I think that thieving culture, it's so much a part of us that this guy, like for you to think of a governor in the era of smartphones recording, admitting to having done all this stuff, because now they were secretly recording him, and he was admitting to everything because it's the Kenyan way. For him, he feels like, yes, I made this maybe $1 million or $2 million fraudulently, but I made it. Like, what can you tell me? And he knows how he can game the system. You see,
bro, to be honest, as much as we say, and I agree with you, it's everywhere in Kenya, I'd say it's everywhere globally. If you just look at the stuff with Doge and in states, for example, the level of corruption they found is at the point where even Elon, have you noticed they've gone quiet? There's no more noise being made. That's because obviously they were told if you press too hard, and he said it himself on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think I'll wind up dead. There's some things that are so ingrained in the system that you just can't fight against it. And that's why the illusion of a presidency is the illusion of choice, because whoever comes in, at the end of the day, we get fucked. Right? So whether it's this current presidency or the previous regime, and Kenyans, especially us, we're very quick to forget. We're now missing the prior regime. When the prior regime we were missing the previous regime. It's always that same narrative. Our votes, our efforts, our voices never get heard. What do we need? Do we need a hard reset? Maybe that's what we do. But in order to get a hard reset, for sure, there will be a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, and a lot of tears. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to go down that road. But ultimately, for me, politics now has just become a sort of a shamble in order to get to a place where the people who stand in a line holding hands together. Whatever someone does is now he's basically replacing that other person holding hands together. That's what it is. It doesn't matter. I think culturally, we're so tired. Have you noticed how many people are just tired of everything? We never used to experience the government pressure in the industry we were faced in. Right? Within data centers, it was pretty much the private sector. But now, you're starting to see the cracks come in. And what's happened is we're now in an economy where private sector's biggest competitor is public sector.
And that's really messed up.
It's really messed up because you'll do a business, the tendering process will come out, someone has another business in a similar sector but with public sector ties, and they get the business. Right? And you just amplify that. And it's not just specifically for Kenya. It happens in India. It happens in Pakistan.
I think with why I was talking about specifically Kenya was when you look at the small things, like when we were talking about Dubai. In Dubai, if I'm walking around with my phone, if I receive a call anywhere, I can pick up my phone. Yes. In a place like America, anywhere, basically apart from the ghettos, like if I'm in the CBD somewhere in New York or somewhere in LA, Dallas, I'm just picking up my phone. I have no worry about that. In Kenya, I'm worried that someone is going to snatch my phone. You see, so all this level of thuggery, we look at it like it's small, but it represents the whole society. Like I remember there's this weird thing that I saw, kumbe it happens only in America, but I didn't know. Like in America, if you are entering any place and you open the door and there's someone coming in, you have to wait for them, hold the door for them, and then they get in, Like it's just their thing. So even when I went to
polite culture.
When I went to Dubai, I was still doing the same shit because I'd seen it in another country. So I felt like I'm going to look like an asshole, but I feel like this plays a role in trying to show you that we are part of a society.
Correct.
In Kenya, it's every man for himself. So now, if you start a business, like people always like a lot of people apply, like tell me like, Mwafrika nataka kuwork na wewe nini, but I never want that. And one of the reasons why I avoid that is I've known RAPCHA, I've known Ian, I've known Zach for years. So when you come to a place like this, you can see like the way there's a lot of expensive equipment, There's a computer just seated there. Now I'm there like, what if I get a true Kenyan? And the true Kenyan is like, the last time waliwasha hii computer like 1 week ago, they won't notice that it's not here. Then now nimeshtuka, the computer is not there. So that's what someone had written in the comments. And in that group, they were like, they started a business and they had like people were stealing too much. Then I had another guy who came here a few weeks ago and he was saying the same thing, that he had this like he sells grains and he had to put CCTV cameras because people were stealing too much.
Bro,
now when you see that, now you see a governor also stealing. Because the same thing with Boeing, Boeing does not know. They know these are victims. We are going to pay out. A governor, or that time he was a senator, puts in fake names.
So I 100% agree with you. In fact, to add on to that point, there was a recent, Mike Manani, I did an episode with him. He does car imports. And we were talking about the logistics industry, where in the logistics industry, if a truck driver has a certain route, you have to allocate a certain amount of fuel to be stolen on that route.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of the budget. And so, for example, if you're doing Nairobi, Mombasa, they'll say, okay, 40 liters the driver will take, he will sell, he will pocket. It's budgeted for. They used to work in that industry, cousins work in that industry. And to me, that was like, I'm like, you guys are allowing theft.
Yeah.
You see that comment section. In fact, if you guys go on my TikTok, just look for one of the Mike Manani videos. People are defending at Windies, you should pay us more. So where did Windies come? Where did Windies come in this equation from?
Yeah.
You see, they pay us more, our employers never pay us more. And then there's a lady over there commenting, you guys are justifying sin. Stealing is stealing. Whether you're paid less or paid more, you're still stealing.
Just leave the fucking job.
Half of them are drivers saying that you have to understand, we come from a position of we're not earning a lot.
Yeah.
So of course we will, this is our right. Now imagine you're in a society where people are saying, it is my right to steal from you because you're not paying me enough.
Yeah, and it's really messed up because I always fight with Uber drivers when it comes to that, because I owned an Uber and I had 3 drivers.
How was that experience?
I had 3 drivers and they messed me up. I had to, I basically lost that car, you see, and I've never touched that business again. So from that thievery, that's why people, I think, always see me react with anger when it comes to this stuff. Even when the stories of Caliph Cairo came out, I was like the first podcaster to really focus on him and be like, if you're scamming people, it's wrong. Because people really work hard for their money. And that's the same thing I feel like with this one guy. Like if I'm not a president supporter, I've been accused of that, but this is one thing where I think if someone is on video saying that if they're caught, they're going to blame me. I'm so petty that if I was him right now, like I'm Itumbi, one of his advisors, I'd be like, you know what, you need to call the FBI and ask them, are they interested in this case? Because at some point we have to teach people, like this guy wants to be president, yes? He wants to be president and he wants faked names with his employees who had no power. So the employees are saying they went online. Because someone told them, like, you know what, this thing has been paid out and you guys' names were somewhere. So they went online, they're finding their names. So he had access to
they're not even aware.
They're not even aware. And this guy is there bragging that he's going to get away with it. And I'm there like, this is the sort of stuff where, remember when, I don't know if you know about Dudu, the Jamaican drug dealer who, when the Americans wanted him, they had to go to the ghettos and take him. The best thing about Kenya is there's going to be zero resistance. If Ruto today decides he's handing this guy over to FBI, there's going to be zero resistance. He goes to the US, and my only advice will be don't drop the soap. And I'll be there supporting Boeing because, when you remember like the way that bullshit happened, the flight, it was a software problem. It was not even a hardware problem.
Yes.
Where the software, I don't remember what it was called.
It basically forced it to nosedive.
Yes. So now they decide something that never happens when it comes to Kenyan stuff, where there's always zero compensations, the Nakumat fire, no one was paid. Stewart, no one was paid. So now when you have these situations where an international company is paying and you have someone, a lawmaker, stealing, according to me, there has to be consequences that everyone will always remember. Like, remember this one Kenyan guy? He's in an American jail because he tried to scam. And that's the only way to handle
You make an example of it.
Yeah.
The thing is, but again, the spider's web goes further and wider than people think. Because if he's acting out this way, what has given him the confidence to act out this way? Is he being protected? Is there people in the back end on this as well? There's so many layers to it. And that's why political ambition and entering politics, I think, is always a risk. There's a lot of downsides compared to an upside. Because the downside is you can wind up as part of a system which you can't change, and then guess what? Moaf will catch the blame because Moaf is in the public eye. It's easier to hang him and then sort of defend. These kind of things, Bana, it pisses me off, but it's at the same time, should I focus my energy on it or should I focus my energy on someone else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things.
IKONINI. So kwa majuna unatrai kutuma pesa Kenya, the best platform kutumia ni LemFi, cause LemFi kupatiaga the best exchange rates, na apart from that pia inakupatia the highest limits to send. Uzabaki umesend $8,000 in one day, hiyo ni close to around 1 million shillings, ama $16,000 in 1 week, hiyo ni around 2 million shillings, ama $32,000 in 1 month, hiyo ni around 4 million shillings. So try kuimagine unafanya kitu kama construction hapa Kenya, LemFi unachangamka nayo haraka haraka. Alafu pia kitu moja poa na LemFi ni saa hizi kuna vile zabaki pia umetumia till na pia pay bill za M-Pesa, ubaki umelipa bills ukiwa huko masaid za US. So tuseme ulipiaga familia yako internet, ama unalipia stima, unazalipa ukiwa huko, na ubaki umetake advantage of those good exchange rates that I was talking about. But pia kuna kitu moja inaitangua cashback. So for your first $100 transaction, ukituma utabaki umepatiwa $20 cashback. Alafu pia in that same transaction kuna vile utabaki umesupport IKONINI, because IKONINI pia tutabaki tumepata $20. Na story behind hii ni kitu inaitwa referral. So tumia referral code IKONINI. Nacheki simple tu hivyo, IKONINI as one word, na utabaki umepata $20 cashback on your first transaction ya $100 and above. Na pia IKONINI tabaki tumepata kitu, so utakuwa umetusupport. So unangoja nini? Tumia LemFi. LemFi, international payments for everyone. IKONINI.